Have trumpets? You have any trumpets?
You do any trumpets? Yes.
Yes.
Okay, this is the Diva, and we're thrilled to welcome back Thaao Penghlis. Thao's a three-time Emmy nominee. He's also an author, a chef, a world traveler. He's the total package. So let's have some fun and get your questions ready. How was that?
Give it a B.
Yeah.
Of course,
Look at
teacher
you in your
Thaao.
pink. You look like the suburban housewives.
I do. Well, wait, no, I'm a DiMera. Look in the background,
But you need the sleeves to be a little bit off the shoulder.
like this. No, wait a minute. You need your zipper down further.
Oh, is she talking to me?
I
Is she?
won't say what.
Oh my God! Your mind has not
Will
been
you just?
cleaned up since I last spoke to you.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Well, wait. We got to bring Stacy on late. Well, we don't know what will happen with her. So, anyways, tell us what it was like on or this last time with Anna, or how you feeling coming back.
Well, there's no adjustment after, now in my 45th year. I think, it's something that's in my system where I never want to take it for granted. So I mean, the material's okay. I had some good stuff, but I long for the days where we used to sit in a chair and conduct. We don't do that anymore. It's that kind of enticement that we used to have with Joe Moscolo and everything in family drama that's kind of missing for me. The hierarchy, that kind of, because we had real good intensity going on in the family. And now we have a lot of youngsters that, are not mature enough or experienced enough to be in those positions. And so, but that's the way it is. We try to go to the young because they always think that attracts when it doesn't, because the audience that really stay with us are the ones who've been with us for all these years. I think that's why they long for having families of the old and the familiarity. I mean, that's why you like to go back to something, because something about it makes you feel at home. But listen, everybody has different opinions, and they're entitled to what they're doing. But you
Mhm.
ask me, and I just think, the authority, the conflict that we used to have against families is not in operation much anymore.
Mhm. Yeah, it's always a brighter days when you and Anna come back. I think the fans look forward to it because I always notice a lot of positive comments when you do come back.
Yes, I don't know what it is. Is it the familiarity of, but they say, oh, they always bring a bit of sunshine and laugh
Mm-hmm.
and drama to the
Yeah.
canvas. Um, and also, Leanne and I mean, it's been so many years that we've been together. That's second nature, and she's always a joy to work with. And as most of the actors are on that show, we have a good ensemble. There's no conflicts or anything, but um, there have been in the past. But you learn to be a professional and come in, do your job, and then it's over. Um, there's not much time for casual conversations in that, because everything's moving so fast that actors come into your dressing rooms and you go the line so that you're prepared to do the one take. And I think on a younger person, there's probably more pressure. We're used to it. I went from 10 take Thaao to one take Thaao, so that's good.
One take. Yes. Do you want to have Carrie, do you want to ask a question or?
Yeah, I was wondering
Yeah.
how you feel about the new DiMera family. I know you're close with Billy Flynn, and we have a new Chad. And your scene with Rita, your first scene with Rita, I think just happened a couple of weeks ago too. How you liked her working with her?
I like working with her.
Hmm.
She's fun, she's very available. Some actors just wait for their cues, but she's bordering on the giggle which makes it infectious, and you like flirting back with her because it's not predictable. And so when Anna got upset about that whole sequence, it was kind of fun to play. Um, but it's just not the same when you see changes going on like that with um, with the family dynamic. You constantly have to adjust to new actors, and it's not always the same. But you're a professional, and you come in and you do it, and you put as much as enjoyment. I must say, the actor who has replaced Billy is terrific, wonderful guy, and so is and the Gabby character. I enjoy working with her as well. I would have liked to have more scenes with Deidre because I'm always stirring up things with her because she gets me going. It's like the Andre in me who wants to just stir up trouble and things that I do to her because she sometimes has asked me, "What were you thinking when we were doing that scene?" I can't tell you now, but I was very blatant with her, which kind of shocked her because she is sometimes a bit prim and proper. And but so you like to shake that up. That's what I look for. When somebody's coming in a normal fashion, what do you do to make this scene interesting? So you've got to save some of it for the take. You do a quick rehearsal, and hopefully what's up your sleeve. And if you don't, you may discover it as you're doing it. So um, it was a great exercise. Let's face it. I feel the DiMeras are the more interesting families on the show because they bring the conflict, and then you have EJ, um, and he's a good chap. We're fellow Australians, and so it's not that we ever socialize, but he's a good egg. So I'm waiting for your questions.
Alrighty,
Okay.
let's
Yeah.
bring on Stacy.
Oh, me first.
Oh my God, she's calling from Australia.
I
Yes, she
am.
was.
Oh,
And
there you are,
and
you dangerous creature. How are you doing?
There you
I'm good. I'm good. How are you going?
I'm doing good.
That's
I
good.
just got back from Mexico.
Ah, okay. Oh, good. I was going to ask if you had any upcoming trips. I think I did know you had gone away recently. I wasn't sure where you'd gone, but it's good. So
Yeah, I had to go and rest. I canceled the Egyptian trip, which was going to take me to Jordan and Turkey because of the war that broke out in Iran. So I didn't think it was safe.
no.
So my friend Lisa and we had all this planned, and then we had to cancel, which we were. And my guides over there, they were excited because I haven't been to Egypt since 2019.
Wow. Okay.
So, but I wanted to show Lisa um, Jerash in Jordan, which is a great Roman ruin from the first century, and then also to Mount Nebo, where Moses spent his last days on that mountain. It's a fascinating place because you can see the Jordan River, you can see all Jerusalem. It just is. To me, it's a fascinating place to be on the top of it all
Mm.
and look down and then go on to Petra. And so we're doing that. And then I was going to go to Turkey because I like the hammam.
Okay.
I only did it once. They
Mm.
basically take all your clothes off and they whip you.
Oh, can I come next? Can I come with you next time too? I'll be up for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You'll be in
Take
another
us all
section.
along.
You'll be in another section. But it's your kind is in another place,
Mm.
far away. Man.
Probably the safest place to be,
Right,
right?
yeah.
Far away.
Oh yeah. But it's a 17th century, and it's all these marble slabs that they throw you on, and then
Wow.
they start to scrub you,
Oh.
and then they throw the hot water, mineral water over you. I
Mm.
mean, they turn you around like you're just. I won't say it's not normal, because we're so prudish with the way we cover ourselves in the
Mm.
Western world. But
Mm.
over there, they just, this is what you're here for. And then they put you into a little spot and they give you a wonderful dessert and coffee, and then somebody massages your feet and for half an hour, and then they take you up for a full body massage. And so I was like, oh, it's kind of nice. Nobody knows you here, and it's kind of.
Mm.
And so when I went up and we finished the massage, I came down, and the masseur said to me, "Oh, you movie star from Hollywood?" And I said, "No, no, 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 no." And he says, "Oh, yes, we look up Facebook."
That's cute. That's
Facebook.
cute.
All your disguise is gone. And
Mm.
you've been laying there totally naked, while they're throwing you around. And they think,
Oh,
oh, Hollywood
did
came here.
Did,
And
were
so
there,
I was a bit shocked, but it
Mm.
was
do they
still
sell
good. They gave me
pictures?
I was
wonderful
going to
gifts,
say,
huh?
any photos? Any photos from
Any
these
photos?
massages that you'd have available for sale?
If you're in a steam room, how do you take a camera or a phone in? No, 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 no. They're not. They're not devious like where you
Oh,
would
okay.
sneak in like a
Stacy would
Like
find
a-
a way,
The
huh?
camera.
no.
Oh dear, dear.
But they gave me some beautiful gifts that I
Mm.
shared with Leanne.
Okay.
Wonderful, a wonderful blanket and an old, a comb that is made from old materials and soaps and they were just terrific.
That
And
sounds
so
good. That sounds
yeah,
good.
so I thought, and plus the history in Turkey is phenomenal.
Mm.
Not because of the Turks, but because of the Greeks and the Romans that established all ancient territories.
Do you think that's one of your favorite places to visit, Turkey? Would you think?
Yeah, well, my grandparents from my mother's side came from Constantinople, which was at the time. So they were there since the 15th century. The family goes back. So, but Greeks, and then they moved to the island that's closest to Turkey, which is Castellorizo, and that's where the generations began. And so, and then of course the Venetians had invaded the island, and that's why 48% of my bloodline is Italian Greek.
Mm-hmm.
So some Venetian got in there somewhere.
Okay. Let's see. I was going to
Thought I was
ask.
telling you some interesting story, and you're saying, "Well, okay, yeah." So anyway, I gave you some inside information on the history
And it's
of where it all came from,
uh,
and you're treating like you just had a cup of tea.
Tea.
oh my goodness gracious! No, it's very fascinating. I'm very grateful for your
No, your
worldly.
response was too.
Woohoo! Yay, Teo! Fantastic. No, sorry. Okay.
No, that's
Is that better? Is that better? Okay.
yeah.
Do you
I think you dressed up for the evening.
Oh, it's 9 o'clock in the morning. I've only just got out of bed an hour ago.
Yeah, some color maybe, some
Well,
color.
I have
Look
got
at
colour.
look at Marianne. She's in shocking pink.
Shocking
Well,
pink.
I don't need to be pink to be shocking. You know that. So that's why I'm wearing just this normal t-shirt. So.
She's shocking anyway, right?
Exactly. Exactly right.
Yeah.
Taya, do you have another podcast in mind that you're looking at doing in the future?
Well, I tell you, today I finished The Great Escape. I thought it would be interesting as a film, and I just
Amazing.
finished the script.
Damn, amazing. That's amazing. That's exciting. So
Yeah, I tell
fun.
you, I found out, which is going to be inserted in the podcast, but I found out that during the Holy Family's escape into Egypt, they came across a witch. And that story is fascinating, and how the young Christ was able to play some interesting miracles at the age of just over 2-3 years of age. She was known. She would collect like tariffs from people who would sail along the Nile in feluccas and boats, and this time when they came across the Holy Family, she started to threaten them, and it's really fascinating story. And so it adds an element in the story that wasn't there before for me. And so I just finished 102 pages on the script, and I think maybe it's the best thing I've done. And I just finished reading it this morning, so I'm excited with that. And like with Mel Gibson doing the Resurrection,
Yes.
part 1 and 2, I think we're going to be installed with a lot of biblical stories in the next year.
It's good.
Mhm.
So,
So I think timing is good. I was ready to do my next podcast. One of the ideas was to do the great romantic stories in the last 1,000 years, and the tragedies of like the Romeo and Juliets and all that. But there's some fantastic stories to tell. It was either that or doing the Last Dauphin of France, and that's a fantastic story that resolved itself in the year 2002.
okay. So maybe those will see the light of day down the track, potentially. The other two podcasts you mentioned?
Yeah. Well, I did write a story because Al Rabin, when he was our producer, said to me, Guy, we've got to find some stories. We need some new stories. And I said, I have a whodunit. He goes, oh, please show it to me. That would be great for the show. And so I proceeded to write a 45-page sequence. And then I gave it to him. And then he got fired.
Aw.
So suddenly that story, I gave the best part in it is Leanne's part. And so I gave to the next producer, and I've never heard from them again about it. And so I thought sometimes we have to realize that when things don't work in one area, that we don't allow it to remain as a loss. That sometimes we have to find out maybe there's another door that
Yes.
needs to be examined. And
Yes.
so I've written 91 pages on that script. And it's not going to be about Days of Our Lives. I'm just going to use the story and change the characters.
Okay.
And it's a good thriller.
Sounds good.
I like thrillers.
Yeah. I won't take too much more of your time because there's other people waiting. I'm going to just say, looking forward to seeing you in August this year.
So what's that area called?
What's that? Where we're going?
Yes. What's it called?
The Mackinac Island, you mean, in Michigan?
Yes. Yeah.
Have you?
No, I've never been there.
Oh,
Never been there.
that Grand Hotel has been my dream for probably 30 years, and I'm finally getting to go there. So I'm very, very excited about that. So to the point where, like, when I read it from Paul and Keith, I was like actually emotional. Like, I just broke down. Like, I can't believe this is where this event's going to be. So I'm actually planning to stay. Alison and I are going to stay another night and actually stay in the hotel. It's expensive as a heck, but you know what? Life is short. Do it while I'm there.
How much is it a night there? How much is it a night?
I'm being embarrassed. It's probably going to cost me about $1,000 for one night.
Wow.
But you know what? Why not? I have no commitments, no
Yes,
dependents.
you're
to it.
you're a rich gal. I mean, you are what is the word when someone inherits things? I like an heiress.
Am I? Maybe,
If you're not, it sounds good though.
maybe you could pay it for me. Do you want to pay it for me? I'm just joking. Don't do that. I'm kidding.
You see, she asked the question, she eliminates it as quickly as she could breathe.
But anyway, yes. So we're looking forward to
It could be
seeing
fun.
you.
There's going to be 6 actors there.
Yes,
Mhm.
and many I haven't met before. The only exceptions are yourself, Leanne, Eric, and the other 3, Stacey, Paul, and Lindsay. I've never met, so that's exciting for me as well. So some new
Yeah, they're
new
nice.
peeps.
They're all a nice group.
They're not as nice as
Yeah.
you, though, are they? Let's face it.
I'll let you in on a secret when I see you.
Oh, okay. Okay, that sounds
You
good.
remember because when I saw you, the Queen Mary,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
what happened that day with my leg?
Oh, okay. Yes. Okay. Could message me
Yeah.
after. Message me if you want after. But yeah.
No,
Okay.
I'll wait till August and
Okay.
make it a thriller.
Oh, okay. Oh, I like thrillers when it comes to you. Okay. All right. Oh, well, I'll say goodbye for now. Thanks for the time
Okay,
and having a
thank you. It
chat.
was lovely seeing you.
All right, you too.
As usual.
All right, and
All
I'll see you
right.
later. All right, thanks. See ya.
All right, sweetie.
Bye.
Thank
See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Stace.
Yeah, I'm gonna bring on Andrea.
Okay.
Hello.
Hi, Andrea.
Where is she? Oh, hello.
Hi. Hey, how are you?
Andrea Watson. Is that your last name?
Yes. For now,
Yes.
I'm going to lose that last name
Why?
because of who it was attached to. I don't want any more memories. I'll just go back to Andrea.
I see. So what name would you go for?
Probably go back to my maiden name,
speak-
Holland.
Holland?
Holland. Or
Oh,
Penghlis. I don't know. I haven't thought about it yet. Maybe I'll. No.
it's nothing like another threat.
Well, you know. So, I'm not going to see you in Michigan this year. I cannot afford it. But
Yeah, they're a bit
yeah,
expensive,
yeah, yeah, they're just going up, 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 and my income is not.
like everything else.
Right. So I have a few questions I jotted to ask.
Okay.
All right. So currently, what are you reading, and who's your favorite author these days?
Daniel Silva. I'm reading his. I'm expecting his next book in July. I've read 26 of his
Oh,
books.
wow.
This one is a thriller. What I like about it, it's about the Mossad agent who then retires. Basically, he's a Renaissance restorer. So it brings you into all these great things in the Vatican and all the great painters, the Michelangelos and the Da Vinci's, and so it gives you a whole history on that. I mean, I just love his landscape.
So are they a
But you
series?
should try.
Is it a whole
What's
series,
that?
all the books, or
Yes, yeah.
okay?
In the earlier ones, he was, head of the Mossad, and then when he retired, he would do favors to people who would call him in. And he's got a beautiful wife and twins. His first wife died in a terrible fire accident. And so I mean, it's just so beautifully written. It's like movies because the chapters are short. So it's like a serial. So it's the kind of book you won't be able to put down. I've introduced him to quite a few people. So his name is Daniel Silva, Silva.
Okay. So, you know what that reminds me of? Have you ever read any Harlan Coben? Because he has a lot of short chapters, which makes it move pretty fast, and I like him a lot.
Uh,
Yeah.
yeah, I've taken the books on every journey I've had. I'll take one of his books and finish it by the time I come back home.
That's good.
It's a wonderful friend to take with me, especially if I traveled alone and I wanted to sit out in the elements and I would have that to read. It was wonderful.
Yeah. All right. Next,
If you want to get one of his books,
I do.
look at The Order.
The
It,
Order.
it was released about 5 years ago, called The Order, because it really describes who the Jewish people are, and why they're blamed for the crucifixion. But it also is the assassination of a pope, and it really is terrific.
Okay. Well, I'm looking
I'm
for
enjoying
something,
it.
so
Yeah. So have a look at his books and make your choice. But yes, they're worthwhile reading. They're fast reading and just well written.
okay, I'll definitely sounds interesting.
Yeah.
Um, what is the last movie you've seen in a theater? Or do you even bother theaters anymore?
No, I go to the movie theaters not like I used to. To be in Hollywood was an event. I used to like going for dinner and then going to see. But now all the ArcLight theaters in Hollywood are gone.
Right.
They've shut down, and there's just so many bad movies out there. I just cannot believe. I don't know who this group of producers are, but their taste is nothing like I grew up with. We grew up in the Renaissance of Hollywood.
Right.
I mean, Broadway still is successful and tasteful, but movies, they're only interested in horror or sequels.
Right.
So there's no new imagination going on. And, all the great stars, I suppose we really had some great movie stars. That's why they were movie stars, because there was an element of privacy. And when things came out about them, you kind of, oh my God. But now there's none of that. Everything is established. It's out there up front. If anybody does anything or gets drunk and trips over in the gutter, it's reported the next day.
Yeah.
You will say something, your career could be over.
Right.
The next day. There's no element of not just privacy, but mystery. That's kind of gone. The studios used to protect those actors. And when I first came, from Australia at 21, and I remember getting my first job with at MGM, and it was with Stuart. What's his name? Oh God, how did I forget? And it was a series for a series. It was, and I was doing the pilot, and I just couldn't get over MGM and how and all those movie stars that came through it. So then I walked. I felt really blessed and very fortunate that I was able to find my life in that element. Um, because I remember when I was in Australia as a kid, they say, you go to the movies and the lights go dark and then you start dreaming because, there's an element of dreaming that comes out of it. When you had all those wonderful sword fighting movies and you saw, the Marilyn Monroes of the world, and it was just an amazing time in history. It's a pity it's gone.
Well, I think that that's probably why these movies don't stay in the theater. I mean, they're there for a weekend, 2 weeks, and then it's on
Yes.
streaming services. So, there's not the thrill of, being able to catch it in the theater. So
Yeah.
I see the difference.
Yeah. And it's become so expensive to go to the movies. You take your family.
Yeah,
And then you look at Disneyland, you cannot believe the prices of Disneyland anymore. I mean, how do families afford that? And it's just, we've just come into a period of such greed.
yeah,
I don't, it never used to be like that. And if it was, it wasn't so exposed.
right,
But greed is right there, and people suffer because of it, because nobody, especially if you have children, you've got to allocate certain funds. And look at the people of today who are struggling, and they can't afford to do this or that, and so they have to. Now they're saying, well, we don't eat every 3 meals a day. We have 2 meals, or we have 1 meal.
right.
I mean, when the top echelon of America is got all that money. And so we don't care about human beings much.
Yeah, sadly,
We don't nurture. We're not nurturing like we did before. And that has to come from the top.
that's true. We don't have a very good example right now, so let's just hope things get better very
No,
soon.
no.
But
But look at England. They don't have a great example either. My friends in England are just, so upset with their regiment of leaders. Australia, then you've got Russia, and then you look at Ukraine and what's going on there. Um, it's just not the same. So, we have to persevere and hopefully the good things will come through again because they're still there waiting until someone is powerful enough to think about let's spread the wealth and I know it sounds like a socialist, but you want everybody to share in the winnings. I mean, this
right,
country is the richest country in the world.
yeah. Well, it's sad. I mean, it's sad. So let me ask you, is there an acting role that you feel like was a missed opportunity that either you didn't get for whatever reason, or that you passed on and said, you know what, and then thought, geez, that was a
Mm.
missed opportunity.
The King and I, the National Theatre in Australia called me, wanting me to do with Hayley Mills,
Oh,
playing the Deborah Carr role, and they wanted me to do it for 10 months in Australia. And my agent said, "Who wants to do The King and I? It's such a dated musical." And I said, "Oh, really?" And then they said they'd like me to grow my hair long and shave my chest to look like
Ooh.
that I'm from Siam. And then I said no. And they said, "Well, at least do 3 months and help us open." And then I said no again. That show was so successful, it went to Broadway and won the best revival.
Oh,
So that I was disappointed, because I love the music from The King and I.
right,
And then I thought, oh God, some choices that's what makes careers or doesn't make careers. But, it wasn't, I had finished with Altered States, and I was being offered a part in Man for All Seasons at the Armandson out here with Charlton Heston and Vanessa Redgrave. Turned that down. and then when did alternate states, and then we had the strike, and that's how I got into the soaps, because that was the only thing available at the time. Everything else was closed down. So I went into General Hospital, and that's how it all started with the soaps. And
Mm.
when you're a struggling actor and you didn't come from wealth, what happens to you is, oh, I've never had this much money. And what happened was I started to accumulate wealth, and then I was able to send my parents 6 times overseas and bring them to America. And so it worked out in a way, in good ways, because I allowed myself to succeed with my parents, which was very important, leaving a Greek boy in Australia, that they were not. The news about me in America was not good, coming back from Australia, that I was some drug dealer and hanging around with whores and all those terrible things that anybody could try to malign your character. And then it wasn't until I did Days, and Days was huge in Australia, and then I went on to do um, Mission Impossible, and that was great. And so I was able to share that, and that came out of a strike. So,
Oh.
things happen. Some things are missed out, but that's the career of an actor, I suppose.
Well, then so your missed opportunity created another opportunity, so it worked out in the long
Yes.
run. Well,
Yeah. I mean, yes.
I don't want to hog everyone's time. I will let you go.
Well, thanks, Andrea, for coming on board.
Sure.
Thank you for taking time.
Thank
You be good.
Well, you be good. Stay away, be careful, Stacy.
Okay. Okay. All right.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks, Andrea. All right, I'm gonna bring on Carrie. Hi, Carrie.
Hey. Hi, Tails.
Oh, hello. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine. I'm getting there, as they say.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure. I met you several years ago at one of Drake's events, and you were talking to me about your trips at the time you were taking. And you were so kind, and you've been so kind to me on social media. I really appreciate that. I was going to ask you, so you're someone who appreciates history and architecture. Have you ever visited Temple Square in Salt Lake City?
No, I don't think I've
Okay.
been. I went there. I think I've been to Salt Lake City um, for a PA. When you do those things, there's no time to
Oh,
see
yeah.
anything. But no, I didn't. I mean, I love history, and I love things that hold memories
Yeah.
and stood for something. I think that's why I like the ancient ruins that I walked through in Europe. And down even in Mexico, I loved going down to Teotihuacan pyramids, and then going to Chichen Itza and seeing the pyramids down there. But Mexico's kind of changed. It's become very expensive, like everybody else these days. There's no bargains in traveling anymore.
Right.
But I'm glad I was pleasant to you. I mean, sometimes
Oh, God.
Yeah,
maybe
I think
be,
I posted that picture. I have the picture of us on social media. It's one of my favorites. So it was just it was a great evening. And, people just, the fans, we have these emotional attachments, to the actors and the characters. And so, yeah, to
well,
be
there's
able
nothing.
to,
But Kerry, there's nothing worse than meeting someone you really appreciate on the screen, and then you find out they're a bit of an ass,
yeah,
and then you're going, "I'm not going to watch them anymore." It's interesting how they can
right.
turn you off. So
Yeah,
I remember in the early days, I wasn't used to all that attention when I was doing General Hospital, and I remember going out on my first PA, and it was 3 o'clock in the morning. I was finishing late, and I was at some place in the Midwest at 3 o'clock in the morning. And I remember 4 women running, screaming my name. And I was so tired. All I did was I turned around and I said, "Hold it." And they stopped. And I went, "Oh, it worked." So I went on. But, I don't, I'm not usually, I'm usually good with fans. I appreciate, that people take the time. I think when people scoff at that, I think they've forgotten their position. I mean, you're only up there because the fans have supported you and given you lots of their energy to keep you going. So when you're
Sure.
feeling too important, it's like my spiritual counselor said to me at 86, she was, Catherine. She says, darling, when you're feeling too important, why don't you go in front of the ocean and see how small you are? That's what she used to say.
Good
So,
advice.
I had enough people in my life to keep me. Plus, I was very close to my family. And so I couldn't go back home and pretend I was important because they would slam me down, like what? So I, I was raised well. And plus, when you come from struggling families, you don't forget that. I think that kind of humility um, does wonders for your sensitivity, and especially when you're interpreting life. I think it's very important on how you treat people. And when you do treat them well, they're always happy. It makes them happy. So I'd rather leave somebody happy and joyful than somebody just looking at me and I'm just, dismiss them, which I've never done. A couple of times there I wish I had, but no, I did.
That's great. Well, thank you so much, Tao. It's good to see you and chat
Well,
with
thank
you,
you for
and
taking the time. It was nice to see you. You look good,
you too.
actually.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right, love. You take care.
Hey, you too, Tao.
All right.
Thanks.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Carrie.
Bye.
And I'm gonna bring on Jennifer. Hi, Jen.
Hey,
Where is she?
um,
Oh, yes, she is. Hello, Jennifer.
yeah. Hi. Sorry I'm late. I had something came up. Uh,
Okay.
what was your absolute favorite storyline on Days?
I think the time when we went down to where was that place started with an A? That's where
Aramania?
Aramid?
Aram.
Aramid.
Yes, I remember with John Black.
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay.
how he really took me seriously. I mean, Drake was like, right there and positioning himself sideways and looking at you over the shoulder and doing his, masculine expression. And he used to always amuse me. And so I played with that, because I couldn't take certain actors in there huffing and puffing. You can't always take them seriously, but he was such a dear man. He was, but I was sad because the way he left. And
Yeah.
because what I remember, he was a great example of somebody who would come in at 4 o'clock in the morning and do his weights and taking these liquids that made him feel good and slim and all that. And for him to come with pancreatic cancer
Yeah.
so young. He was a good fella. I mean, you'd say to him, "How are you, John?" And then for half an hour he would talk to you. He loved the
Oh,
chatting. But when we did Aramed, he really took it. I think he was happy that I was leaving the show because I was killing myself. I think it made him happy because it was like he got rid of one of his nemesis. I mean, he took it seriously.
yeah. I was on your side then.
Oh,
Yes.
I
I thought
wanted
that whole
Tony and
business.
Kirsten together.
Oh, yeah. I think a lot of people like him with Kristen. It kind of threatened Marlena's character, but they were good years. They were good. It was good writing, good story,
Yes.
and I think in many ways, I can see why. When you're doing a soap for 45 years, I can see why after all those stories they kind of run out, and they have to kind of
Mhm.
turn them back
Yeah.
again and give a different interpretation because it's another actor. But yeah, but when you're a villain, when you come from a villainous family like the DiMeras, well, they're easier to write for because they're always up to trouble, They're
Yeah.
there to disturb the peace.
Do we have any Tony stirring the peace to look forward to, or is Tony still behaving himself?
Well, I saw some of the comments on the way I was treating Gabby, like, oh, he's being mean again. Like, that was a terrible thing. I mean, could you imagine if we're just sweet little lilies, how boring that would be? We need the
Yeah, true.
conflict. And that's why some of people's comments on social media, you're going, excuse me, like, there were comments like, how good I look for my age. But then they said, oh, well, Botox and all the rest of it. And I'm going, do you really have to go
Yes.
there? Dyed hair, Botox, and all the crap that they throw out. And you're going, wow, aren't they? And then my teeth, which are my teeth, and they're trying to say, well, he's probably got um, false teeth. And I'm going, why are people having
Why
to be so mean? But that was only 2 or 3. The rest were
Yeah.
wonderful comments.
Yeah.
You know, but you do get that, uh, you know, especially from a male, and that makes me think, oh, that's a bitch.
They're jealous.
Well, when you look at people my age, they've got a cane in their hand. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I
Mostly.
went to my doctor the other day and he's saying, God, you're doing remarkable. Um, it's all in the attitude. I've got a mind that's very active. And the thing is, I go back home. My brother traveled. He traveled the world and saw all this stuff. And then he comes back to Australia. I said, well, how was it? He goes, oh, it was fine. I said, what? Don't you have a story about you went along the Rhine? You went into those wonderful castles in Scotland. What was that like? Oh, it was a bit cold and wet. And I'm going, is there any more? I'd write an essay. Do you know what I mean? But,
Yeah.
every family has, different. It's interesting how different we can be and what makes you different to somebody else who's more retired. Because a lot of people my age are retired, and I'm thinking, I need some more years with what I'm doing.
Definitely.
Yeah, there was a
Anyway, did I
question.
shock everybody or something? Because everybody seems rather quiet.
Go ahead, Carrie.
So you've got to be interesting too, just can't come from the other side. Marianne, don't you have those questions written down?
Oh, I have all kinds of questions.
Well, why
I'm
are you
just
sitting
waiting
back like it's Sunday?
I'm waiting my turn. I'm being, polite. I'm waiting
Well,
my
we're
turn.
going to be finished. We're going to
Well,
be finished
well,
soon. So your
okay, well, here, I'll
politeness.
have a question. Okay, I know you can't tell the writers what you would like, but if you could write for Tony and a storyline right now, what would you like to see Tony? What kind of storyline would you like to see Tony in?
Spy. I'd
A spy.
like him to be a spy, where
Okay.
he has infiltrated some group in Salem that nobody knows about, and he discovers it, and how he goes about uncovering the truth about it. Kind of a heroic story,
Okay.
I like that kind of story, which may look like he's on the dark side, but what the revelation is at the end of it is that he was really coming into the light, that type of.
And people would say, is it Andre maybe, or is it Tony?
Yep.
Well, Tony started it all, I mean, I was the first DiMera, when you think about it, the original DiMera, and then Joe came in because Joe and I studied in the same class. He was a joy.
Oh, yes. Yeah. You and him back in the 80s and even James Scott as EJ, the 3 of you had great chemistry and great dynamic, really dynamic.
Yeah, especially when you used to talk to Joe and he didn't like the way you spoke to him. Because I remember one morning at 8:00 in the morning, we are sitting there rehearsing. It's a 3.5 pages. And Joe said, I'm cutting all this. Excuse me. I'm cutting all this. I don't like the way you speak to me. And I said, what? I'm an adult. What do you mean? What am I supposed to do? You don't talk to your father like that. I said, no, Joe. It's written that way, and I'm going to play it that way. We get paid enough money. And he starts screaming at me. I said, you can scream as much as you like, but I'm going to play it. So let's do the scene and let's see how it turns out, because you're already in the element. So we did the scene. It was fabulous. But he had to get himself into that attitude and that element, physical and emotional element, in order to be able to play it. And so he fed me so much, I was able to throw it back at him. So, you know, but it was funny how he wanted it cut. And he's another one that left us sadly, you know, Joe. It's just so hard to watch actors who had such minds and everything and begin to lose it, you know.
Was
'Cause it
that
was
the
so,
scene?
huh?
That the scene where he slapped you?
Oh no, because that
Or was that
wasn't even
another one?
that wasn't even the writing. I just spoke
Well,
to him a
oh,
certain
okay.
way. He didn't like my tone, and so he slapped me. And I saw
Oh,
stars. I mean, you seen those hands? How big his hands are? Well, when that came across, it was a real whack. And I just
Oh my
was
God.
like, oh my God. I turned around and I'm thinking, oh my God, what am I going to do? And I decided as I turned my face to face him, and he had that fury on his face, and I just wiped his slap slowly off his face like it was a piece of dirt. Silence, you know what I mean? Sometimes that's better than screaming back at him, and so yeah. Anyway, any more
Anyone?
questions?
I have some chat room questions. Chelsea
Yeah,
wants to know, how did it feel playing both Andre and Tony back in the 80s?
it was exhausting because we started at 6, and sometimes we didn't get out till 11. And when you're doing two characters and you're playing opposite each other, especially when I had to fence him, that was a tough experience. And so what do you do that you have to do basically automatically to create the other character? And that was change your hair and deepen the voice and change the attitude and make him scarier. So that's how I was able to make the difference between one to the other. And that was the first time in daytime that an actor was given two characters to play. You know. Yeah.
Paula said, "Hi, Teo. You've been you have been on TV for decades. Are you going to slow down, or do you want to continue in the industry as long as they'll have you?"
I don't think I'm slowing down. I mean, there are other elements. I think because I wrote two books and because I used to write with one of the head writers from Days, and I went through 60,000 documents of an archaeologist called Schliemann. And I just realized there was part of me that had accumulated all this knowledge, and where did I put it? And so usually I would come back from a journey and get back into my character, and I had a lot of energy because of what I experienced. Um, and I realized how important that is. You have to find it's not enough for you just to take it for granted. How do you become more interesting? And that's expanding your foundation. And how I was able to go into other cultures and be able to experience other cultures, be their food, their manners, their history, their architecture, their stories. And when I did that, I came back even stronger. And so what has happened as I've gotten older is that I started liking the write short stories, like I did 6 of them for Soap Opera Digest. And then I realized, oh, I can tell stories. And then I remember Marianne came to see me in Cape May. And the producer said to me, why don't you tell your stories? And so for a whole evening, I told the stories of the journeys I'd taken, and then I opened it up to the audience. They're all Republicans, and they asked me all these questions about traveling, and it was so exciting, backwards and forward, because what happens to us is we forget if we don't write or speak about it or share it. There's a tendency that we forget, and we must be like teachers and pass on all the good stuff that we've been able and fortunate to experience. And so I think the writing for me has kept me going. And if that continues, that's fine. But in the meantime, I'm now expanding into another slot of life.
Kurt's question. I'm surprised that Tony doesn't have any offspring. That should be looked into. So you feel
Big complaint.
Big complaint that, Donna and I mean, it would have been great that she had a child that I didn't know when she came back and found me, that there was a child there. And I don't know, it's when you're changing writers, they have all different ideas. And um, I think that would have been an interesting side of him as character that wasn't fulfilled.
hmm
Hmm. We all thought EJ was going to be yours when he first came on.
Oh, no,
You're,
no, 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 no. That's that.
no,
No, there's no
James,
way
why?
I'd even
No,
accept that EJ as being a son of mine. Firstly, he was six
well, not
five.
Steph. though.
Let's get
Pretty
over it.
tall.
Huh?
You're pretty tall.
Well,
Huh?
I'm kind of average height. I'm not short, but when you've
No.
got but 6'5" and 6, and you're looking up at them going, are you necessary? You know, I wouldn't want to
No.
have a
Oh,
son who came at me like that, and I'm going, no, you're not part of my genes. Um,
maybe Chad. No.
no, he's
Nah.
too Anglo,
Too.
too Anglo. I mean, the
Well,
DiMeras are
Anna.
too Anglo.
Yeah.
Yes, but I like to think that, my ethnic blood
Yeah.
would have presented something a little more than,
Yeah.
I mean, Chad is, Billy was a lovely actor. Kind of miss him. Not kind of, I do miss him. He was great as a DiMera, you know. So, any more questions?
Anybody else?
yes.
Any more?
Julie has a question. How do you feel the internet has impacted your role as an actor compared to the 80s when your life was more private?
Sorry, give me that again. I got distracted.
Oh, I'm sorry. How do you feel the internet has impacted your role as an actor compared to the 80s when your life was more private?
Well, when I wrote the book Places, that kind of told my story. So it's not as if someone beat me to it.
Oh, Teo's stopped recording, Marianne.
What's that?
Teo stopped recording for some reason.
Oh, we can't hear him?
Oh, he has a phone call. Someone's calling him.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hello? Oh.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And last one, Anna wants to ask a question. Anna?
Hey, just a quick question, Anna or Anna. Hi, I'm in the Witless Protection, the ISA Witless Protection Program. Anyway, no, I yeah, I've been a very bad girl, but at least I told on someone. That's all I can say. No, anyway, I was just thinking, that's because I'm in the Witless Protection Program. That's my whole. No, it's a
It's
joke.
being silly.
I'm on my phone. I'm just being silly because I could. Yes, yes. Anyway, I got a quick question, just and it can and a lot of people ask about your career, or your acting and things like that. I'm just curious, as a human being, as Thaao Penghlis, has there been a bit of advice, be it simple or profound, either way? Well, I guess it'd be profound if you use it, but um in any category of life, that you got this piece of advice and you implemented it and it became part of who you are, and something that you developed, either a habit or a principle around, or anything like that. And if I was just curious because I was thinking about it myself, and I thought, oh, I think I'll ask Teo about that. Uh-huh. Okay. Yes, yes. Right. 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 Oh, lovely. Thank you
Hmm.
so much for that. I love that. Thank you. One, thank you. I think for
No, we got everybody. Marianne, did you have any questions?
No, I don't think. I don't know. You might have to go back and call your brother. Huh? He's trying to get you. Yes. Well, what's for
I
dinner
was gonna
anyway?
say his
Isn't
ears are
you?
burning.
Yes. What's for dinner tonight? Before uh, mm, pigs in a blanket. Me. It's what we call them back here. Yes. Or what do we call them? Halupki? Halupki? That's oh, okay. Well, that sounds nice. Yeah, a little different. Hmm. Oh, it's breakfast time. Yeah. Yeah. And 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 he's in And he's a new grandpa too. Yes. First one. Mhm.
Oh, that's wonderful.
That's very. Oh, yeah.
Well, thank you very much.
You, Tam. Yeah.
Thank
Always
you,
a pleasure.
Okay. Take care.
Bye.
Take care.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Good night.
Bye.